And we are live. All right, let me see here. Wait a minute.
Are we?
Yeah, no, we are live, but I'm waiting for something. YouTube has been having some issues this week. I don't know if it's too many people on it or they upgrading some systems. Okay, here we go. All right, now everything hadn't popped up on my side. Okay, good morning, everybody. We are back. The podcast. Excuse me. You all know and love. Really big.
We got it.
We got it. We are here. We got to dust off. We got to dust off the cobwebs and everything. But we getting there. We getting there. We are back. We're calling this season 3, episode 2. Don't say.
It's how many episodes we get this season.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good and consistent this season. That is my plan. Good morning, everybody that is coming into the room. We have Mink in the house.
Hey.
And of course we have Face the Music.
What's up, y'all?
And are we officially changing you to Face the Music? Is that going to be your name now? Face the Music, not just Face.
I could change it. Face is fine.
No. You're fine. I'm just asking. Is that what we're? I know that's your DJ name. So is that what we?
Actually, it's been that way because I did a Zoom party. And I just never changed change it back.
Okay. Listen, I'm fine. I just listen. I'm all about promotion, so I want to make sure that that's what you was doing. We was putting it out there.
Yeah.
I actually up there because out of laziness. Because I never.
Not out of laziness. What's up, Watermelon Sugar, Mimi, Mr. Zudi? Good morning, you guys, for coming into the room. Welcome. So, how's everybody been doing? How was the second week of virtual school going? And that's gonna take us into Mink's, but I'm gonna ask Face first because Mink has something she wants to talk to the people about. How was that second week of virtual school over there, Face?
It was good. It wasn't bad. It was basically I was terrorizing the first week. So
right, because you were scaring the hell out your kids the first week, basically you gonna be logged in on time. We're not gonna have no excuses. Daddy is always watching. Like you I ain't even listen. I thank parents like you who are stressing to their kids that this is real school. This is not a joke. This is not a break. This is real. Because I still think that a lot of kids, and I can't blame them, but a lot of kids are still feeling like, oh, this ain't real. And I'm like, no. This is no longer a dress rehearsal. This is it.
Right. Yeah. I was home first week that Monday. So it was like I was there. They got, like I said, they at their desks. Their computers up and everything. They had no excuses. They got notepads to the side, pencils, and overbearing parent right over their shoulder. Like, yo, this you know that? Come on now. So second week it was just like I guess it was kind of like, all right, let's just go ahead and do this so this man can leave us alone.
And I feel like that's exactly how your kids are, like just entertain you. Like, we're just gonna go ahead.
Especially the tall one.
Number one? Yeah,
Number one is your child.
Yeah, she just gets up, get a bowl of cereal, and goes in her room and turns her computer on.
Okay, she your child, and she ain't trying to be bothered no more than you trying to bother her for real. So she gonna get it done. So yeah, okay, number one gonna get it done.
Yeah, it's number two I gotta keep an eye out for. She be trying to be extra with her mom.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and I gotta come through like.
I ain't gonna lie, and I say this as the youngest of my mom's crew. It's always the damn youngest.
Listen, out of me, my sister, and my brother, y'all know my sister is the wild one. Listen, it's them babies. It's them babies.
She be faking. I don't know how to do this. I'm like, son, you doing this all summer. You gotta stop playing with me.
It's always the youngest that will try your.
Look, they will try your gangster. They will try. She got an office chair. She got a regular office chair with the wheels on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
She down there faking. I kicked her clean to the kitchen. Into the kitchen. She over there
rolling through the house though,
acting like she don't know how to do something. I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all.
Not that you had her rolling through the damn house. Okay.
I mean,
we're going to swing around to Mink because Mink texted me and was like, listen, when we go live, I want to ask about this. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, girl, we could just talk about it. So tell the people what had happened and what your concerns and issues are, honey.
And I apologize. That's what I was just looking for because I don't want to misquote nobody. However, I couldn't find it, but the county
don't want to misquote nobody. It's always Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to misquote nobody, but the county I live in, one of our teachers decided to send. So we're all strictly, our county is strictly virtual. So a teacher signed in and told the students that the previous homework assignment was now canceled. And the reason for canceling it, because he wanted the children to do the students, because I'm not sure what grade level it is. So I'm going to say the students to do research and find out the number of people, that get the names of people that were, in his words, murdered by police since after Michael Brown. Get their names, their date, and the city and state. And he was given extra credit if you would write 1 or 2 sentences about either the person or the incident leading up to, like, their, as far as their death and things like that.
Wait a minute. Your son is in 10th grade, correct?
Uh-huh.
Why are we only writing 1 or 2 sentences? I'm sorry.
It wasn't my teacher.
That's a teacher in me, because I'm thinking a 10th grader, I need a couple of paragraphs. Go ahead.
It wasn't my son's teacher. I don't know what school, what level this teacher came from. I just know it came from my county. So I don't know what grade he teaches. This teacher teaches. I just know it was one school in the county. So I don't know if it was a high school teacher or middle school teacher or what. So someone in the Facebook group I'm in that's related to my county saw it and screenshot it and dropped it in the group and was like, "What is
I see. Okay, it wasn't your son's teacher. Got it.
So of course now people were kind of in an uproar, and now they're calling for his head to roll and all this other stuff. And I'm like, you kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. Because we're sitting here talking about, we need to make these kids more aware. We need to let these kids have an outlet. But then the minute a teacher gives them the outlet, now you want to fire their teacher. Parents are expecting for firing and things like that. So I've been mentally writing a letter to my school board in support of the teacher, because I feel as though these kids aren't sheltered from it. Some kids have actually firsthand on their own account experienced racism. So these kids are dealing with seeing it. They're dealing with the same fear. They're dealing with everything that goes. They're dealing with the same emotions that we are dealing with this. And they should have an outlet, a constructive outlet, and a teacher doing it can help them, maybe not from a psychology standpoint, but just a part of it, especially if it's a history teacher, can help them work through it. If it's an English teacher, can help them learn to creatively express themselves, give them some type of outlet. So it's like, we can't sit here and say, do we want to allow these kids to see it and say it and don't do anything about it? Because they have thought, just because they're children of whatever age, they still have thoughts about it. They still have input. So I see Brianna0430 said, what was the intended result of the assignment to bring awareness of law education, or why were the parents upset? So I live in a county that not that long ago was majority Caucasian. I'm gonna try to keep this as majority Caucasian. Do
your best. We're here with you.
Thank you. Over the last probably about 10 or 12 years, it's starting to become more African American. And you can tell the African Americans that were born here and the ones that migrated here, there is a different mindset. Regardless of age, there is a different mindset. That's a good point.
Yeah. That is a good point to bring up. It is a different mindset. You're right.
A lot of the ones, and I don't critique or criticize either side of it. A lot of the ones who were born and raised here have a go along to get along mentality. But that's what they said. That's how it was done. It's okay. Let's go along to keep the peace. Where people who are moving here from other counties are like, oh hell no, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to go. Now I think my situation is a little unique because I live in a county where my mom's family was born and raised. They've been in this county before the 1900s. And I spent every summer and school break coming here while I was being raised in Washington, D.C. So I feel like I'm a little bit of both, but I feel like I'm more so fit into the whole I migrated in because my mindset is not the same as the people who were born and raised here.
Also, I'm gonna add the county is also you have the extremes. You have very, very, very affluent people who live in the county who have like real money, not just I make a good living money, but like money. Mm-hmm. And then you have people still living on farms or in trailer parks. Like you really have the extreme in your county, and the zoning is very jigsaw.
Yeah. We had in 2020 people in my county who honestly don't have indoor plumbing. We have people in my county who live in U-Haul trucks. Right. So living in a trailer park will be a step up, and no pun, no whatever, but that would be a blessing to them.
Yeah, so that's also so for me as an educator, my question is really sort of along the same lines as Brianna. The assignment by itself, I need to know what class this was for. What is the intention behind? Like, I don't think the assignment was necessarily a bad assignment. However, as an educator, I think we need to be leery about doing things just to throw it out there to say, hey, I'm teaching kids about social awareness. There has to be some context to it. There has to be some before, middle, and after. Like just telling kids, go do some research on all the Black people that's been killed by the police. That could be traumatic based on your children's individual experience. Also, I agree. I don't necessarily think it was a bad assignment. I just think we need to understand. And I think the people in that group were done a disservice because they weren't given that information either. You see what I'm saying? So no, if I were in that group as a parent, or if I was a parent, if I were a non-educator and I were a parent and I got that assignment, I think my questions would be the same. I think my questions would be, okay, I don't have a problem with my child doing this assignment, but what's the purpose of it? What are we doing with this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just found it, and it says, hello all. Slight change of plans. Instead of doing the questions on Synergy, that's our school site, I want you to do something even easier. An assignment I am calling Say Their Names. Write a list of Black people killed by police since Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. You need to write their name, the date of their death, and the place. For extra credit, write a sentence or two about the circumstances of their deaths. So that's all he gave. Now, you know what? Allow me to do some research for a minute, people, because I think I'm gonna look him up and see what I can find out what school.
Okay. While Mink does the research, that's just my only thing. I mean, Face, again, with the information we have, as a father, what's your first response to that? You know.
Well, my first response would be like, okay. Then I'd be kind of like, I would have the question of why.
Yeah, it's sort of like yeah.
Okay, like I think I kind of get where they're going, and it's something that we discuss in my house, but it's like for like a school assignment.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Mr. Zudi. I don't think he should be fired at all. No, I definitely do not think this. I think the teacher is trying. I think that we are living in a. I'm actually working on trying to get a couple of guests for the teacher project that can speak to teaching about like how do we infuse and incorporate what is going on into what we're doing in our lessons in a safe way, because again, a lesson plan like Say My Name, like I think that could be very powerful, you know, but again, it just like I don't want the science teacher doing it. No, I shouldn't say it like that. I need to see how it's being done, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah, but my follow-up question would be like, is there more to this than just this one assignment, or are we just gonna do this one?
Right.
I'll say this, part of the reason why I got excited about it was because, you know, we've been living here as residents for 8 years. And I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019. I want to say 2019, maybe 2020, because I can't remember exactly. Yeah, school closed in March. So it might be 2019-20. They after Black History Month homework, assignments, or anything related to it on February 28th.
Say that again.
They gave Black History Month assignments on February 28th. They had no discussion. There was no previous information. There was nothing. And on Februare 28th, one of my kids' history teacher came up and was like, hey, well, let's have a Black History assignment. So that's why I got excited. In all honesty, that's why I'm like, I know it might not have, like, again, we don't know all the details, unfortunately, because we just got this screenshot of this teacher saying,
right.
As a parent being here, I'm excited that you're taking the time to, one, address issues that these kids or questions these kids may or may not have, because let's be for real, not every child has a parent they can go home and talk to it about.
And that's why I say that teacher is being done a disservice, because with no context to that assignment, it just looks very, oh, I'm just going to throw this out there, you know, Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It does. I think it does that teacher a disservice. I know you could
throwing it up and see what sticks in the end.
Yeah, like you could take a homework assignment out of, because what I'm gonna tell you what very well could have happened. Because I've done this before. You're in class and something sparks a conversation. Mm-hmm. The conversation may have gone way left in class that day, but because they were talking about Black Lives Matter and Breonna Taylor and Michael Brown, like the conversation very well could have gone in that direction. And so the teacher went back that day and said, you know what? Forget about that assignment that I have posted. Let's do this because it's directly connected to what we're discussing today. The kids know. The kids understand what the connection is, but as a parent who wasn't in class that day, who didn't listen to the Zoom or whatever, it looks like it's coming out of left field. Now, again, as an educator, because we are doing all of this stuff virtually, and I probably would have put that in the assignment, said based on our conversation today in class, I'm going to change the homework assignment, and I want you guys to do X, Y, and Z, because then as a parent, you at least know the connection. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is what y'all talking about today, which eliminates me going, what?
Right, because see, in a regular classroom, you know, we were going to class every day. Hey, Jaded, if we were going to class every day,
what's up, Jaded?
I could do it in class and say, you know what, you guys, listen, this was a great conversation we had in class today. This is what I want y'all to do tonight for homework. Bring it back and let's talk about it some more. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what is being lost in translation sometimes with that virtual classroom versus the in-person classroom. Again, as an educator, I'm leery and I'm very cautious to just kind of be like, oh, that don't make no sense, because so many things could go into how we got here. And I just think that whoever took that screenshot and just posted it into the group chat, I think they did that teacher a disservice without having more context. Now, I think the teacher did themselves a disservice by not adding more context in the assignment. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's a bad intention. Maybe not the best delivery, but I can't ever be mad at a teacher, whether they white, black, or in the middle. I can't be mad at a teacher for saying, listen, we need to pay attention to what the hell is going on around us, especially when you're teaching children who are, whether they're black, white, or in the middle, when you're teaching children who are now going to become, you want them to become concerned citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I just found him. He's a special education teacher at a high school.
Oh. Well, that probably explains the 2 or 3 sentences then. That might explain that.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No. And what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that special education students can't do more. That is not my point. My point is that might be why that lesson may have, because in my mind, I was like 2 or 3 sentences, but I'm saying depending on his population, what their IEP says and things of that nature. I don't know anything more than that. I'm just saying that may explain it, because ain't no way in hell a high school student is supposed to be doing 2 or 3 sentences, but that's just my opinion. You know, and again, I'm not saying, because I know special ed kids who can run circles around some general ed kids depending on their disability. I'm just saying, without having more context, knowing that they may have to accommodate and adjust assignments. Anyway, I'm with you, Mink. Well, continue to defend that teacher, because I think the intent is the right intent. I just think the delivery may not have been the best delivery.
I tell people, you know, if I cuss you out, I'm not going to apologize for what I said. I may apologize for the way I said it. So exactly. I think his intent is there. I saw somebody earlier a moment ago said they should have done permission slips. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit on the fence about it. Now getting more information and knowing that it was a special ed class, I can see. Oh, he's a special ed teacher. I can see definitely handled it a little bit differently depending on the levels of understanding and comprehension with the students that he teaches. But permission slip, I don't know, only because the rebel in me says there's so much crap that's shoved down our kids' throats every single day that the school don't ask for permission, that's taught in an altered way or taught differently than our education, we were taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America, but when you sit back and read the history books and you start learning your own, he ain't even stepped foot in the country. So it's so many things.
He stopped where I go to vacation at.
Yeah. So it's like, so many falsehoods that were shoved down our throat. It's like, again, why is it when it comes to issues that deal directly or solely with the African American community, we got to have special permission. We got to handle it with certain ways. We got to kind of deal with it differently because, again, we don't want to spark some type of provocative thought or uprising or emotion. We got to kind of try to funnel it down.
I agree. I agree. I don't think, and I don't think it's necessarily, in my opinion, because I teach U.S. history and we talk about genocide and everything else, and I don't have to get a special permission slip to talk about the Holocaust. I don't have to get a permission slip to talk about World War II. I don't have to, you know what I mean? So no, I don't think there needs to be a permission slip involved. I just think it has to be held. I just think the conversation has to be responsible.
Yeah, but I'm willing to lean toward the point you made earlier, Classic, and that was probably a topic of discussion. Like, I don't see that just popping up. He just decided to do that.
That's probably exactly what happened.
That's
probably exactly what happened. And that assignment was done as a follow-up to the discussion.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm willing to go that route, yeah.
Yeah, I just think that the delivery, he probably should have done a little more explaining because, again, in this virtual world, we have to remember that the parents are more vigilant than they normally are. They're reading a lot more than what they would. Like, normally a parent is not reading a child's homework, even if it's posted in Google Classroom or whatever platform your school district is using. No. I said normally. Normally, a parent is not logging into Google Classroom every day reading a child's homework assignment. You see what I'm saying? But because of where we are right now virtually, parents are a lot more locked in to what's going on in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. That's just the reality. I'm just telling you what I know. The reality is I can put stuff. I have parents, and I send them when I send out the Google invitation. They get the invitation just like the kids do. If their email is in the system, they get the same invitation. And
I had to figure out what that was at first.
I've never been in the Google Classroom. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them just aren't doing it. I know Reese's Piece said I do, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the average. Now y'all might be above average, okay? But I'm telling you what I know as an educator. If I teach 160 kids, I promise you, less than 80 of those parents have been into the Google Classroom. Less than 50 of those parents check it on a regular basis. Less than 20 of those parents read it every day. Like, that's just the reality.
Right. You think about it. I think part of it because a lot of us parents were home now. A lot of us are working from home. So we don't have the distraction of having to go into office and come home in the traffic and da. So a lot of us are here. So I think that's part of the increase.
And plus they bring it on themselves because they be like, well, this is not working, this not happening. What's going on with that? I'm like, well, they're putting it directly in front of me. Like,
you know what, that was our struggle on Friday. I was about to have one child. Because I had one that tried to play it with me. I'm like,
I have some of my friends with children I pray for on a regular basis. Mink, you are one of the people who I pray for your children. Now, Rhonda, aka Treble Clef, if you've been rocking with the podcast from the beginning, then y'all know Treble Clef. I pray for her because her daughter be giving it to her. Okay, I pray for her. But Mink, I pray for your kids. Face, I pray for the youngest one. The oldest one be giving it to you. She's time enough for you. The youngest one,
she do what she need to do, so I don't have to talk to her.
She's time enough, but she's you. So y'all click because she's you. She's you. So Yeah, some of my friends that I do. So yeah, so why were you about to only have one?
Because he tried to hold the internet and my headphones and da. I said, let me tell you something. So we made that.
Brother. Let me holler at you for a second. brother.
We made it through that with a few tears, but we made it through that. We got, we had to move no furniture. We got the air clear. And I'm gonna go on a limb. We have to have this conversation again. Because it's gonna be fewer words the next time.
Right, it'll be right. There's not gonna be a whole lot of conversating. So let me ask you a question.
Be a whole lot of talking this time, Slim.
So let me ask you a question. So does Angry Man, is he working from home or is he back in the office?
Working from home.
Oh, and y'all haven't killed each other? Oh, that's right, because you're going to work. You're leaving the house.
I go 2 days a week, and then he run out and do stuff. So he's kind of back and forth. So yeah, and I go in 2 days a week. I'm in my office now. I come in, I close my door. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, okay. Because now when you start talking about praying, I was praying for y'all during the quarantine. I ain't gonna lie, I was praying for y'all during the quarantine.
Yeah, I was just happy every now and again when my name pop up. When Angry Man name pop, I was like, "Who? He is still breathing." All right, Angry Man is still breathing. All right.
Okay, like we might need to do a welfare check. We might need to write down.
Every time we say breaking news from Waldorf, I'm like, "Hold up!"
Right down to
I stop and look at the screen. I don't watch the news no other time.
Let me tell y'all some good shit. It won't come for the news.
So let's flip for a minute. Okay. Now, Jonathan, I understand your point. I do with everything going on today. I understand what you're saying about the permission slip, but let me tell you why. I'm about to flip into another topic, and this is why I'm not concerned about permission slips, because these kids are faced with the reality whether they want to be or not.
Right.
So we had the NFL kickoff on Thursday night. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, we know going back to the last couple of seasons, the controversy in the NFL with kneeling or not kneeling, the whole shit started with Colin Kaepernick and, whatever. We're not going to rehash it. However, the rule, what they finally agreed to, I think, was players can do whatever, however, but what for the kickoff, I don't even know. They changed it so many times. But for kickoff on Thursday night, what they agreed to was that the Texans agreed to stay in the locker room during the national anthem because that was their form of protest rather than the kneel. The Kansas City Chiefs, I think the majority of the team, I think one or two players might have took a knee. I only saw one take a knee, but some of them locked arms, whatever. Then they agreed to have a moment of unity in the middle of the field with both teams locking arms and doing a moment of silence, right?
Mm-hmm.
For all those, for the Black Lives Matter, right? Here's why we don't need a permission slip. Because during the moment of silence, during the moment of unity, the few fans that were even allowed to come into the damn building, which, by the way, how did they decide who could come in and who couldn't? I meant to ask one of my sports fans that question. Because I
think season ticket holders had first options or something.
That makes sense that the season ticket holder. That makes sense that it was season ticket holders. But it was 17,000 in the building out of that stadium can potentially hold something like 66,000. So it was 17,000. That's what they said.
Yeah.
They were booing during the moment of silence and the moment of unity. So the reason why I say, no, we don't need no permission slip, because these kids, this is what they're dealing with every day. But that's why I say there needs to be, how it's handled needs to be. But my thing is, so here we are again with the fucking NFL, where all this whole controversy over the knee started. They still can't get it right. And we have the damn 17,000 people that are in the stadium are now booing during a moment of unity in a moment of silence. Now, I saw what somebody said to Shannon Sharp. They said on his Twitter, because he posted about it, and somebody said, well, maybe people don't want their football mixed with politics. And he was like, no, maybe people don't want their football mixed with racism. Like it's like, come on. How can you boo a fucking Moment of unity.
But that's the problem. We need to, okay, for me, we need to stop sugarcoating shit. You know, my auntie always say the naked truth with no dress on. Call a fucking, well, she didn't say fucking, but she's like, call a spade a spade. And I think that's part of the problem, especially like where I live at. Like, it's a racist place. It's racism everywhere. There's racism here. And people want to act like, oh, well, the minute I admit to the fact that there's racism, it makes it seem like it's, you know, a bad place or whatever the case might be. And so people want to sweep it on the rug and ignore it. And, you know, a lot of people now coming forth, they're saying there's a difference between saying I'm not racist to I'm anti-racist. There is a difference between the two. And we need to go from not racist to anti-racism. And avoiding it or acting like it does not exist is not going to go. My daughter just graduated from high school in 2017. And in this county, she had a white boy to tell her that, you know, she wouldn't be good as him as a programmer. But what, a month, 6 weeks later, who the fuck slid next to her asking her for help to program? And I'm sitting here like, I said, did you help him? And she was like, well, kind of, but not really. She was like, I kind of guided him in the right way because the teacher was looking. She's like, but I didn't help him. And I said, bless you, baby. Do what makes you comfortable. I said, when you have my full own permission.
Get it short like me.
I told you know how she is. You know, she just. I told her, I said, but you got mama's full on permission to tell him you and the horse you rode in on and ride that shit out. I'm like, because you're not gonna sit here and tell me I can't be good as you or whatever. And that same breath asking for my own.
Right.
So, you know, it wasn't because, and the thing is, she was the only female in her programming class. So it's like, so it was like a double slam because she's black, because she's female. He didn't think she can do it, you know. But again, and then, you know, people want to be like, oh, well, no, she should have helped him. Well, fuck you too. No, she shouldn't have. She that was her choice to do so. I respect and support her choice because she doesn't have the same personality that I do. I'm learning to accept that. However,
I'm glad you're coming along. I mean, jeez. Child almost 30. All right, go ahead. You finally catching on. All right, cool.
But I think we stop. I think, you know, my issue is when people are racist to us, we need to stop turning the other cheek and acting like it's okay, and we're going to outdo them by being a better person. Don't reward bad behavior. You want to be a racist? I'm not gonna sit here and try to change you. It is what it is. Be who you are. But I ain't got to fucking deal with you. I definitely got to help you, and I ain't got to accept you and move the hell on.
Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff on my Twitter feed and all that because I don't really block people or nothing. So I see all the sides come through my feed, and it's like about the politics, and they don't want football. And I'm like, there have been moments of silence for the most random stuff. In the NFL,
like, and that's what Lil Baby said in the chat. She said politics have always been a part of the NFL. Like, what is wrong with these people? And it just
they want to pick and choose with it. This is the topic they don't want to deal with.
Well, wait a minute.
Granted, they were in Trump country. They were in fucking Kansas City, you know, so they were in Trump country. But it's just the point. I'm like, dude.
Moment of silence for people that lost their lives, and they booed, and it was like.
Right, like at the end of the day, that's what it was. It was a moment of silence for people who have lost their lives. Period. Like you don't even have to finish that sentence, and you are booing that. You are booing it.
But you got to go back to the thought of one, they don't see us as people.
Right.
Two, they don't care about the life.
They see us as people, just not whole people. We what 1/8? How many?
It was 1/8 the person.
2/3. You were 2/3.
But you don't mourn the cockroach you stepped on. You know, you don't mourn the fly that flew into your windshield. So it's like, you know, it's like how, so just, it irritates the shit out of me when I hear people say, oh, Ahmaud Arbery would still be alive if he complied. To who?
To who?
Who the fuck should he have complied to?
On whose authority?
Right. He should have complied to the crazy neighbors asking him why he was looking in a construction site. It wasn't even someone's house. It was an empty fucking house. How do you not know he wasn't a potential buyer? How do you not know he wasn't sent there by his real estate agent?
How do you know he wasn't looking at his own house being built?
His damn house, like.
That could literally be his house. How many times I walked out of my house when it was being built?
Yeah, I got pictures of my damn house with nothing but studs and all that.
I remember, both of you guys posted pictures when your houses were being built. One, because it's a source of pride. Like if I was having a house being built from the ground up, it was a plot of land and now it is my home. Hell yeah, I'm gonna go visit it. I'm gonna drive by that bitch all the time. Be like, that's me right there, dog.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Number 12. Number 12 is mine. That's me.
And you're right, Jonathan. Who was it that just said that? You're absolutely correct. Come tomorrow, it's going to be 5,000 moments of silence for 9/11. And you're absolutely correct. And I'm not saying there shouldn't be. But at the end of the day, there's the same mindset that we are doing a moment of silence for people who have senselessly lost their life for no good reason, period.
And but in this country, we want to pick and choose who we think should be honored and commemorated. And again,
we always have. In this country, we always have chosen... and when I say we, we, but we've always chosen who gets to be identified, who gets to be.
It all depends on the political climate at the moment.
Right. Who gets that moment? Mm-hmm. So it's I just thought that was very interesting because I was talking on Thursday when I went live Thursday, I was just talking about how I just wasn't feeling this season, how lackluster, even in our football group, it's just kind of like, it's just not, it's just, and that it just made it worse. Like the one thing the ratings are down for the NFL. Like the NFL, you are not doing great things. No. This isn't fucking helping. Like this isn't helping.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He's a big hockey fan. And he was like, man, how can hockey make a comeback? I said, you know what? If all other professional black athletes stop playing.
Yeah.
Hockey would make a definite comeback. That'd be the only thing left worth watching.
Right. And it goes back to somebody, and I don't want to miss. I want to give the person credit, but I don't remember who said it. I really don't. It wasn't. I don't think it was Shannon Sharp, but it was somebody in that realm. I can't remember. It was a very outspoken person in sports, and I just don't remember who it was now. But they said something to the effect of, and now like this is why LeBron. This is why we were like, fuck it, we're not playing for the rest of the season. Like at the end of the day, this is why, because they still don't fucking respect. It's shut up and play. It's shut up and play, Because I'm going to be honest with you. If the NBA, the only reason why the NBA is getting away with it is because there's nobody in the stands. There's nobody there to boo. Because I believe that there's certain arenas in the NBA where if they came out in Black Lives Matter shirts, if they kneeled, if they said, they would be booed too. They would be booed, but there's just nobody there.
Well, you know what, and I agree.
Right, and those monitors don't have volume on it.
Right.
But my thought is part of the problem with this country is no one truly can stand alone. We have to stand and take other people with us. So, we spend more time arguing, trying to convince people to think like we think and do like we do, as opposed to actually listening. Because when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling, was it 4-6 years ago, whatever it was, he wasn't he was standing alone. He wasn't pulling anybody in with him. He was just saying, this is how
it was two other players with him. I think it was two other players with him.
But they decided to join. It wasn't like he was pulling.
No, they didn't. He didn't ask anybody. No.
Yeah, so and that's one thing I commended him about, just for him taking a stance on something that he believed in. It wasn't popular, it wasn't famous, it wasn't whatever. But my irritation with a lot of players who were there with him, who are now kneeling now, and I believe me, I'm trying to let people, keep my shit to myself. Everybody comes at their own time. It comes to you in your time when it's ready for you to have and ready for you to do it. However, had more of them stood with him and not necessarily turned their back or was quick to try to jump back to make sure they were disassociated with him, then maybe things wouldn't be where it is. And now you come along with a commercial that says, what if I was Ahmaud Arbery? What if I was this? What if I was Breonna Taylor? And you say, I am, this person and that the NFL started taking, the players seriously. But how much was lost in that time frame?
Well, the sad thing is, fast forward, what was that, 5 years ago?
Well, because nobody's...
Fast forward, we're still here. Like,
if somebody still with him, the whole point was lost immediately. Immediately. The whole point of what he was doing was lost immediately.
He was kneeling for police brutality. But what the fuck have we seen for the last? We know it's always been going on, but what has been highlighted in the last 6 months, 6 to 9 months in our country, the numbers, like, you know, Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. We just had one hit my fucking timeline this morning, where the police jumped on a Uber driver because he wouldn't show his ID, and they are sitting on this motherfucker's back because he wouldn't show his ID. And I don't know the whole story because I didn't open the link because I just can't. Like, I couldn't wake up to that this morning. Like, I'll read it later. I needed to get some other shit in my brain before that. Right, but that's the first thing I woke up to this morning when I was just scrolling, looking for stories and, you know, making sure we're going to hit some hot topics today. I said, let me see what happened overnight. Make sure ain't nothing popping, you know. And that's what hit my timeline. So once again, I see a picture. I wake up to a picture of a police officer on a black man's back. That is literally what I saw.
But we need to stop. I'm sorry, and I'm going to get on my soapbox. We as black people need to stop being so fucking indoctrinated that the minute something happens, and don't get me wrong, I do understand, I agree with you. We don't know the whole story, but I don't give a fuck what he did or whatever. When do we start living in a live action Judge Dredd where the police are fucking judge, jury,
executioner?
Yeah. Judge, jury, executioner. When the fuck did that happen for us as a black people? Stop sitting here saying, oh, well, I mean, like the whole thing, like you said with Ahmaud Arbery, people are like, oh, well, he might have been looking at something. If he was in there with a duffel bag of copper pipe out the goddamn house, they weren't officers, and that's not a reason for him to be dead.
No, I agree with that. I'm talking about in this situation, I don't know, because let's be clear. But let me be clear. There are some situations where whatever happened before what I saw.
This is my thing. I'm not sitting here saying that black, white, brown, or whatever, that if you commit a crime, you should not be arrested. You should not be taken to jail. You should not be prosecuted. Go ahead and get your 3 to 5 and get the fuck on. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we as black people need to stop being comfortable saying that it's okay because, oh, well, like I don't know if y'all remember the girl, I guess about 5 years ago, she was in her classroom, smart mouthing the teacher, wouldn't leave the class. The teacher called the resource officer. The resource
I remember that story. Yeah,
she took the whole chair and body slammed her and the chair to the ground, and she hit her head on the floor. And everybody was like, "Well, she probably was smart mouthing." I don't give a fuck if she was smart mouthing. The punishment does not fit the crime, and we need to stop being okay with that. We need to stop being comfortable with seeing ourselves tortured and beaten and killed by police
and stop agreeing with white folks because it's so many of our folks will be like, well, remember on his record back in 19 whatever.
Well, I hear what y'all saying. I'm gonna push back.
Maybe it's okay. So it's okay because I did something 10 years ago. I should die now.
Like, I don't agree with that, but I'm gonna push back a little bit because to me, context does matter. So all I saw was the police on that man's back, and the headline said he refused to show his ID. I don't know what happened before that. For all I know, he might have ran from the police, and that was the end of a high-speed chase, and they're holding him down to arrest and handcuff him. That's why I say that. I don't know what happened prior to that.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is this. You getting pulled over to ask for ID, you refuse to comply, because that's the favorite word is comply. I understand that. It could have been a high-speed chase. We don't know. I agree with you. I do. But however, we all know that when it comes to arresting us and when it comes to arresting them, it's a different type of arrest.
I agree 100%.
So they're going to not need to die for selling single cigarettes. Like that nothing.
No. I agree. All I'm saying is I didn't read the whole story. Because here's the thing, and I'm going, now some of y'all about to get mad at me right now, because I'm going to go on and say this. I understand that. But I also know that in the last 6 months, every time a police officer confronts a black person, we want to put it up on social media and turn it into a thing. And sometimes it ain't a thing. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes it ain't a thing. Sometimes that person was wrong. Because the police do still have to do their job, and all police officers ain't wrong, and all police officers ain't the devil. So what I'm saying is, in this case, I don't know the whole story, and so I don't want to speak on it and run with it. And then I get off of here and I see a whole video that shows a whole different narrative. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm saying I understand and I agree with you. There's always context if every situation. I agree. But what I'm saying is this: if a white officer can walk up to a black man and say, "Give me your ID" or "Give me whatever situation is," and then come back and say, "Oh, at the end result, he's dead." However, whatever the white boy name is who walked into the church and shot 8 people and can walk out with a bulletproof vest and then be driven to Burger King to calm his nerves.
I'm with you. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I'm not, yeah. And I think we're agreeing. We're agreeing.
Yeah,
because I agree with you. Listen, there's never, for me, you're never going to defend somebody selling loose cigarettes dying. Even if Michael Brown did what they claim he did and he robbed the store, still should have ended in his death. We know Trayvon was minding his damn business. Like, I get it.
Because the thing about it is, none of these actions should result in death. Hey, Miss Honey, should result in death on the street. Like, they didn't even make it to an arrest. They didn't even make it to a trial. They didn't even make it to anything. And what I'm saying is, we as Black people, we're kind of almost, what is the word looking for? We're almost
complacent.
Not necessarily complacent and dead to the fact that we're mad, we're angry. Don't get me wrong, we're mad, we're angry, we're upset, but we're almost like, well, damn, what did he do? Like, that's like kind of the next question. Like, it's almost justifiable that we died in the street like a fucking dog. And that's what I lay issue with, where it's like, I do want to know the concept, I do want to know what happened, but again, the end result is, I don't think anybody should die. And if police officers, if you run around with 6 in the clip and 1 in the chamber, a taser gun, you got mace, you got whatever else their tools of the trade is, tasers and all this other stuff, and you still kill somebody, then you're training.
But here's the thing, that's the training. And I'm not a police officer, so I don't want to offend police officers or whatever, but I think they need to change the training. I think the training should not be shoot to kill, it should be shoot to maim. That's just my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong for that. I know that when you're dealing in a life or death situation, but the majority of, I mean, you would talk to the average police officer and they'll tell you they never even had to pull their gun in their career. So, like, law and order is not the norm. Like, you know, CSI is not, we're not killing 20 people a week. Like, that is not the norm. And so it's like, the reality is, I think they need to change the training and let's look at shoot to maim.
No, last time I checked, police actually is part of the life-saving organization, supposedly. And they're trained, and they know better, because there are many people armed that get arrested without much of an incident. Without losing their lives. So the training's there. Now, how it's applied is a different thing. What makes
that's true. Okay.
It's
I mean, it just looks like, because I mean, I okay.
And the more police officers, and again, I'm not. Look, I do not believe that all police officers are bad. I don't believe all police officers are heroes. I think everybody gets up and go to work and do their job, however they see fit, how their best ability, whatever their mindset is. We all 3 of us have different careers, and we go. It is what it is. However, my thing is, for the officers, the racist officers that are on the force, and your police force continue to support your racism, therein lies the problem, for the simple fact of a lot of these areas, like Ferguson, you know, after Michael Brown was killed, it blew up in their face to the point where FBI came in and shut down the Ferguson City Police Department. They said it was so much corruption and so much racism, they didn't know who was who. They couldn't weed it out, so everybody had to go. That right there, that ain't. Let's stop pretending that Ferguson is the only racist city, the only racist police department in this country. You know, so that in lies a problem.
Yeah, I was looking at I think I told you guys this before. I was looking at something on BET where they were hiding. I mean, not hiding. They were highlighting, different issues. And one of the issues, and it was they were looking at Ferguson, where they were talking about the bail bond system and how that is just another road to prison, like the whole bail bond system. And I never realized, like I mean, thank God I never had to use a bail bondsman and stuff like that. So I never really understood like the whole system. But watching that breakdown, I was like, get the fuck. Like I didn't realize, like, you know, they had this one lady on there who she was a nurse and she got arrested for writing bad checks, right? She was writing bad checks because she just didn't have the money. She was a single parent. She was struggling, and it wasn't like she was out here like purposely like, I'm gonna go get this new Louis bag and write a bad check for it. Like she was trying to live. Right, you're right. She was writing bad checks, like paying her rent to like buy herself a couple of days. Because my thing is, who the hell is still even writing checks in these days? You know what I mean? Like this was recent, so I'm like, who the hell writing checks? But so that lets you know right there. And so she got arrested, and they brought her up on like felony charges of writing a bad check, and she didn't get bail. I'm like, that's a nonviolent crime. How do you not get bail? So then she went to a bail bondsman went to a bail bondsman, and so she was on the hook for the bail bondsman. Then she got convicted to something like 3 months in jail. So in the interim, she lost her nursing license because now she was convicted of a felony. She lost her kids because she was in jail for 3 months. So she lost her kids. She obviously lost her job. So whereas she was struggling before is the reason why she was writing bad checks, now she really is struggling. Now she's on the hook for the bail bondsman because she still owed, well, how they broke it down, she still owed money to the bail bondsman, and she had to pay restitution on like, it's like you went from writing up, and you look at it and you're like, really? Like in 2019, because this was last year. And so I think maybe all this happened maybe 2017. So in 2017, we're really going to convict this woman on felony check writing charges,
while money laundering,
like insider trading,
and everything else, spending millions, making millions, and all of that. They get like a slap on the wrist.
Like, are you serious right now? It was crazy, y'all.
To go back,
she got no car, but she a flight risk. Okay.
To go back to Brianna made a good point. She said racist cops are terrified of Black people, so they go to the extremes when detaining people. And I agree, you know, and I think it's a time for them. You know
what? Actually, I don't think they're terrified.
No, I do. I think it is. I think there is a fear there. I think there's a fear because
I think it's more of pride.
But okay, but think about it. If you're one racist cop and your beat is an all Black neighborhood, let's be for real. The thought from slavery, you had one slave master and his old ass wife, and you got 100 slaves. If those slaves were to rise up, guess what? His fear of them realizing their power, he had to control. He had to invoke more control and more fear over them. And I really do think it's a way of trying to control. It was a cop in DC.
Okay, to that point, yes. Fear is a way to control, but I don't think they're scared. I think that they just like. I think the one thing that drives a lot of people is when they can lord something over somebody else. So they have that power and that authority. So that's what there's an opportunity there.
But I think there is a level of fear. I think there's a level of subconsciousness, and I think there's a level of fear that people have of Black men because that is what has been indoctrinated. Miss Honey said something about going back to slavery. That is something that has been indoctrinated in us. The big Black man. The black people are stronger than a Black man is stronger than a white man, and there is an indoctrination in that. There was a study done, and this is when I worked at the jail, and we were talking about this. There was a study done where cops, and they were asking police officers this, and the average police officer, when they see a Black person, a Black man, they, in their mind, they see them as 5 years older than what they are. Whereas a white man, they see them as 3 or 4 years younger. So, for example, if a Black officer rose up on a 16-year-old Black boy, his mind computes 20. He sees them as older.
You see him at 20, 21 years old.
Right. So he presents older in their mind because, and whereas he rose up on a 16-year-old white boy,
you see a 12-year-old.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so
you see
that is something that has been indoctrinated in our minds. And like I'm telling people, I go back to the example I used from this summer. Ebby is in the room. when we went to Tennessee, we were an hour away from Nashville and an hour away from Knoxville, two major cities in the state of Tennessee. Yet we were there for a week, and we saw 2 Black people the whole week in the place where we stayed. Now, when we went to Nashville, no, we went to Knoxville. Even when we went to Knoxville, we went to dinner in Knoxville. We only saw one other Black family in the restaurant where we were. We were at a high-end steakhouse, like a, top-of-the-line steakhouse. We saw one other Black family. And then we drove down to the Jack Daniel's distillery. Now, mind you, the distillery wasn't really open. You could only go in and just buy liquor and stuff like that. Not one Black person. So the fact that we went somewhere for a week, and I can count on one hand how many Black people I saw. And I get it. I was a tourist. Maybe I didn't know where the Black people hung out. I get it. But hell, we went to Walmart. We didn't see no Black people at the Walmart, not even working there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, hell, we went to the Walmart. And so so to put that into perspective, if those people that live in that area, those white people that live in that area, the only thing they know about Black people is what they see on the news, what they see on TV. And if all you see on the news are these big Black men on social media and all of that, like,
let's not forget our videos either.
Right, videos, like that still was being indoctrinated, and I think we do ourselves a disservice by saying, "Oh, they know Black people." No, there are places in this country where people can coexist and never come into contact with a Black person or a white person, and so all they know is what they see on TV, what is told to them. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think
what's long in their household.
Right, it's like the Trump voter. We do ourselves a disservice by writing off Trump voters as just being crazy. They're not. They might be racist. They might be but they're not. We gotta stop saying, "Oh, if they follow Donald Trump, they're just crazy." No, that's how he fucking won the first time. We gotta stop writing people off.
They know how the system works.
Like,
don't count them short. They know how it works.
Yeah, they're not because they don't think like us.
But they're not crazy. They're supporting a candidate who speaks and thinks like they do.
Absolutely. And that's my point. And that's what I said about the RNC. We can laugh about the RNC all day long and that was crazy. But what people have to pay attention to is Donald Trump pulled regular everyday people up there to speak. That couple that pulled the gun on the protesters coming through their neighborhood, they weren't playing. That wasn't an SNL sketch. They were legit sitting there saying, "We're afraid of the Black people coming to the suburbs." Bitch, we've been in the suburbs. All 3 of us live in the suburbs. So, but again, we can't keep writing those people off as crazy. They legit stood on their porch with a gun and they got rewarded for it. You see what I'm saying? They got rewarded.
That was rewarded.
Right. Holding that gun and correctly at that.
And the thing about it, but that's the thing about it is, and you're absolutely right. We need to stop saying, "Oh, these people are just crazy," and trying to blow them off. And get up and kind of move them out. And it is sad that in 2020 we still have Black places, white places, or what have you. And even like I said, like living here, I drive past places that I remember as a kid growing up, and I ain't that old. The hell with that.
Let's clarify.
Right, let's just clear that up.
I drive past places like I was born decade post Civil War, not Civil War, Civil Rights.
I'm about to say the Civil War. You are that old.
Civil Rights, and growing up, coming down here, I remember places where I was like, "Oh, I want to go there," and my aunt and uncle being like, "That's not for us." As a kid, I didn't understand what she meant, what they meant. And those places are still open, owned by the same family. Some of them are the same people. There are places where I walk in the place and they look at me like,
"You know where you are?"
Right. Did you make a wrong turn, baby?
I can say it on that note because my father hated to fly. So whenever we moved, we were in the military family, but my father hated to fly. So we drove across the country.
Okay,
He didn't like to fly, so we drove across country. So when he got stationed on the West Coast, we drove across the country. So I've stopped. So we've stopped, and I had experience at a lot of places. You get out the car, and it's like, whoo, I don't even want to go to the McDonald's. Can we hit the drive-through? Because I don't even want to get out.
Listen, you know my family. I've told y'all stories. We've driven cross country. My family, we camped. You know, we were the Black Brady Bunch. We camped. We had, it was a group of us. It was my mom, my aunt, uncle, and there was a couple of other Black families.
You say
we had campers. Yeah, we had campers, and we have gone all over the United States. So trust me, we have. We done been somewhere and seen some things. Okay. And as a kid, you're right. You hear your parents saying certain things, or we would drive and I'd be like, I gotta pee. And my mom and my dad would be like, you gotta wait. Like, we ain't stopping here.
We got 2 more counties. We got 2 more counties to get through.
Right. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna have to hold it,
And one of my mom's brothers, one of my uncles, I remember as a kid, he used to drive an 18. Well, I don't ever remember him driving it. So before my time, he drove an 18-wheeler. He would drive across country. He said he remember, like, as a Black truck driver, they would kind of talk to each other and kind of say, hey, don't stop here. Don't stop here. There were certain places he had to get his gas before he went somewhere else. He had to hump it through this county before the sun went down. And, and I remember growing up as a teenager, telling him places I wanted to go. And he'd be like, well, you can't stop here. And you get 10 miles south of this city. Don't stop nowhere. Don't eat no food there. And this was in the 80s and the 90s, So let's not act like, America was this great big melting pot. Right. And y'all know I've said it before, and I stand by it. I believe in separate equal. I believe in segregation. But I think the difference is between then and now is we need to stop. One, and first and foremost, we need to stop looking for compassion from our oppressors. We ain't gonna get it. We were asking for separate and equal from the people who were oppressing us. We need to establish our own separate.
We never asked for it. They gave it to us. And the problem was, because I'm with you. I'm with you. The separate part doesn't bother me. It's the equal that we never got. If the schools had been equal, there never would have been integration.
Right.
The problem was they got the separate part right. They never got the equal part right. That's the problem. Miss Honey, we can have a conversation at a different time and unpack that. I don't necessarily 100% agree with that statement. I think that that's part of the problem. You're never going to get 100% of anything. So to say, as long as we don't support as a collective, I guess I want to know what you mean by a collective, because I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that people need to. I think there are a lot of things that we can do as a Black people that can help us achieve power politically. Same thing with the business-wise and things like that. But I think it has to go on both sides. I think that we have to put up good we need to put up good candidates that we can support that are going to do the right thing when they get into office. I think as a business, if you're a Black business owner, you have to put out a good product that people want to support. Like, I don't think we should just blindly support anything. I don't think whether it's a candidate, whether it's a business or whatever. So I would love to, we can have a conversation.
I had a thing on that.
We can flesh it out.
I had a thing on that though. I understand your point, what you're saying, and I think I know where Miss Honey's coming from, but
I know she's coming from.
But I watched things, and I was like, and it's kind of like we will fight each other harder than we will fight anybody else on any point, on anything, as far as politics, business, or whatever. We will trash each other.
I think we're harder at each other. I do agree with that. I agree with that.
And I'm like, until we can, we can disagree, but do we have to do it to the point where we're trying to make a point against our own people? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I will interject.
Well, again, Miss Honey, I need to
openly do it.
Again, Miss Honey, I need your definition of collective. I would need your definition.
And then go, I'm not going to support this. And we'll also do, I'm not going to support this because this one particular minute point, I don't agree with. So just throw the whole movement away.
And I agree with you. Now I do agree with you on that. We will be like, he wore a white suit after Labor Day. I ain't vote for him. Like, I agree with that. I do. Or a Black business. You go to a Black business and you have one bad experience, and then you want to go all over Facebook. You want to blast it. You don't want to support it, but yet your ass still go to Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A done told you they don't like gay people. They don't like if you ain't religious. Like Chick-fil-A done told you, but y'all are still standing in line for that Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say this. I will interject and say some Black people, not everyone, but I do understand what y'all are saying. But I will say this also. One, we got to define what support is, because a really good friend of mine, well, actually she's a cousin, but we're friends. She says that we have to define support, because even though I may not like, okay, say you selling, I don't know, say you selling bean pies. I don't know.
All right, that's an extreme, but go ahead.
Extreme. Bean pies, they are pattern, okay. So just because I won't buy one from you does not mean I'm not supporting your business, because I may not buy one bean pie from you. However, I may send 10 people to you
But I call that support.
to buy bean pies.
That's what I call that support. Like I would call that support as somebody that has a business. I would call that support.
Yeah, I mean, my thing about it is people are like, I don't know about doing it right now because all is going on. But if somebody coming to me and be like, hey, you know a DJ? I sure do. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, am I throwing parties right now, whatever, to hire you as a DJ? No, but that doesn't mean I don't support. And I think that's one thing we need to stop trying to put everything in a box and say how it's supposed to be.
Well, because I'm your friend, and I'm your friend, and we both black. You just supposed to use me no matter what.
Yeah, and that's a part of like, and it's funny, like example, like when the whole quarantine first started, and what's his name, D-Nice, DJing during club quarantine. Well, right. At the same time, he was putting on, because he was playing he was on my 90s field, so I was going to sleep to him. And then Questlove started, doing something. Right. And I tried to listen to Questlove, but he's a little bit too eclectic for me.
Well,
but everything ain't for everybody, and it doesn't have to be.
Does that mean that I don't support Questlove or whatever? No, everything doesn't have to be for everybody.
I get it. My first one is like, well, they'll have somebody have like I have a bad. I want to say bad experience, or it's like I supported Mink all this time for whatever, and then Classic comes out with something. And then, but it's like people will go, well, instead of supporting Classic, because she's doing something as well, I'm be like, well, nah, I'm rocking with Mink, and Mink's better, and like and all of that, and try to put energy into putting Classic down. I'm like, why? Why can't everybody? Why can't we all live?
Even if we're selling the same thing,
right? Even if you don't,
because
if I don't necessarily like buy from Classic, I can still be like, oh, Classic does too. Like if Mink's busy, holler at Classic.
Right, because sometimes support just means you weren't negative. Like for example, in that example you just gave about D-Nice and Questlove. Okay, Questlove wasn't your cup of tea, but that didn't mean. But you didn't go all over Facebook, social media blasting him talking about Questlove. His DJ set is shit. I don't know why y'all looked into him. You see what I'm saying? You just was like, it ain't my cup of tea, because again, everything. Just because it's black, and this goes back to what I was saying before about that whole collective thing, because just because it's black doesn't mean I have to support it.
Exactly.
But I don't have to go out against it either. You see what I'm saying? Right. Like I can be quiet and just live my best life because it ain't for me.
And I will say this, Miss Honey, I'm with you, Classic. You had to define support, and you also define the collective, because I do believe there is a misinterpretation about what other cultures do because they do it differently. And I think that's part of our downfall in this country. Too often we try to do what other people do or other cultures do, as opposed to doing what we do. The whole "it takes a village." I feel as though that was distinctly our thing. That's kind of something that we kind of held on to. Everybody else used it but us. But we have to find out what works for. I'm sorry, I'm sitting at this day when one of these kids, he come onto the street, and my neighbors be kind of a little happy. I need these kids to get it together. But we need to define what is us, what works for us, figure that out, and move from there. And we have to hey, Spiller Boy. We have to.
Hey, mother.
We have to sit back and define us, not on anyone else's terms, not use other races, cultures to set our scale. Find out what works from us and be distinctively and uniquely us, and work within our realms. What's for us is for us, and we need to work there. We need to use it to our benefit. No, we can't. Yes, we can see how Jewish people, how the Latino communities, how other communities that are considered minorities, how they flourish. but we need to take their principles, tweak it, make our own, create our own principles, and work from there. Because we had Black Wall Street. You know, we had so many black things, black neighborhoods that were flourishing in some of the most tumultuous of times. You know, we were getting lynched, and we couldn't learn how to read, so we learned how to read upside down so we could still see. You know what I mean? So we have that in us. There were so many things that we did when we had so fewer resources, and we still managed to put a black president, you know, generation later. So
right, because contrary to popular belief, people will have you think that the civil rights movement was just one big happy black block party, and not understanding that it was a small minority of blacks who were moving in the movement. The majority of black folk, when Martin Luther King came to town, when SNCC came to town, they didn't want them there. And that is why SNCC had to go in early, lay the groundwork, and start doing these little things and put things in place. Because when King showed up, a lot of times it wasn't the local people that were always supporting him. And so I think we have to get away from what history would have us believe and look at the reality of what it is. And that's why I say, the definition, because collective doesn't mean everybody. So that's why that's why I was like, I want to know. And it's a good conversation. It's definitely a good conversation, because again, I do think we need to move together. There's no doubt about that. But I also think that we need to, I think there's a responsibility on both sides of that. Well, anyway, let's transition. Okay, I'm gonna leave off with some good news. So the good news is the six couples, I believe, that are charged in the death of George Floyd. They were in court yesterday for 3 hours for their preliminary hearing for 3 hours, and it looks like they're all starting to kind of snitch on each other now. They
it's all turn on each other.
Yeah, so that looks like when all it's gonna take is all it's gonna take is one person to start talking, and they're gonna give it all up. What was being said, what was said behind bars, what were they doing for the cover up and all that good stuff. At the end of the day, though, yes, I think the police officers who stood by and let it happen are guilty, but I'm really looking at the mofo who had his neck on George Floyd's knee on his neck. I agree, Miss Honey. That's why I said we could have a conversation, where we could talk. Yeah. It's hard to be in the chat and try to explain. I agree.
But she said that we have no power to provoke any real change, and I do disagree on that. I just think the problem.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that. That statement I don't agree with at all.
We have the money.
We can definitely
repressed for so many generations that we don't even understand what our power is and what it looked like. Because I'm gonna try to tell you right now, I love being black, and I think there's so it's that magic in us that we don't understand.
I don't think anybody questions that, Mink.
Because you know what? Because again,
I don't think anybody questions that.
Because the thing about it is, I mean, oh my God, the blood of my ancestors is what we've gone through. Like my grandmother, she was a black woman in this racist ass county who owned over like 15 acres. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so much we don't understand. We are the people who survived all of that, who beatings and rapes and whatever, and we still managed to come up and do this. We had people like W.E.B. Du Bois and Carter G. Woodson and Dr. Percy Julian, who in spite of became doctors, and so many, they were true Renaissance people who didn't have just one trade. So they can do all that with the bare minimum while still being called out their name and still being threatened because they learn how to read. Come on, y'all, we have the power. We just don't know how to use it. That's the part we need to work on.
I think we have the power, and I think we have used it. Again, I go back to the 1960s, the 1970s. I look at the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers were destroyed because of the change that they were invoking. People want to focus on the police raids and all of that, but people don't always want to focus on all the positive things that the Panthers were doing in the community, and how they were getting the community behind them, and how even people who were not members of the Black Panther Party were looking to the Black Panther Party for their help, their guidance, the free lunch program, the sickle cell. They were taking people to jail to visit their family members. They were providing food and groceries for the elderly. They were giving people rides to the doctor. Like, they were organized and they were invoking change in their community. So I don't necessarily agree with that statement because it happens. Now, for how long it is able to be sustained, that's another conversation.
Right.
The long-term impact, that's another conversation. Because if you look at the long-term impact of the Black Panthers, the fact that our kids get free lunch in school today is a direct connection to what the Black Panthers did.
I had that conversation at work. I told someone, I said, you know, I said, every time we have a child that has a free breakfast or free lunch or discount lunch, I said, we need to thank the Black Panther Party because that was their
school before the Black Panthers. Kids, nobody cared about whether kids had breakfast. I mean, I'm talking about, and when I say this, I'm talking about collectively. I'm not talking about every school district individually because that would be too many to count. But I mean, as a country, there was no care about kids whether they went to school hungry or not. Nobody gave a damn, you know. And so, you know, the Black Panthers used to give out pamphlets to men that they could keep in their pocket that told them what their rights were if they got arrested. That explained to them what they had a right to. You know what I mean? Like so.
Rights.
Right, and explain to them, but even beyond the Miranda rights, explain to them you have a right to do this, do that. The police have to do this, and this. Like, so I think that even when we look at the civil rights movement, once again, was it perfect? No, but at the end of the day, were we in a better position at the end than we were from the beginning? Absolutely. So I just don't, and that was a small minority of Black people. That wasn't, again, the history books will have you thinking that every march looked like the March on Washington, and that's just not the case. That is just not the case. I mean, we look at Birmingham. It wasn't until the kids got involved that anything changed in Birmingham. It was the kids, and it was because those images went out nationwide. You know,
think about it, and you're absolutely right because the thing about it, you know, W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington couldn't agree. You know, they battled over the whole concept of the talented 10. You know, Dr. King and Malcolm X, you know, they had on what violent and nonviolent and what movements would work. So we don't have to work collectively and agree on something in that sense of the framework, but we do have, like you're saying, we do have to work to move forward because my forward and your forward classic and your forward face may not all be the same, but if we're moving forward, you know,
we're different. You know, we're definitely different in how we think and what we. So anyway, I said we were gonna move on to something positive. Okay, so I was saying that George Floyd and the grand jury is gonna finally hear the case in the Breonna Taylor murder massacre. We found out that the police, I mean the people, the powers that be are saying, y'all said there was no video footage, but yet we see their pictures with the video camera on the police officers who went in there. So where's their footage? Because they actually showed pictures of police officers from the night of with their body cams on their body. So it's like, what happened to the footage? Like he had the body cam on. So either A, he broke protocol because it wasn't turned on like it should have been, or B, you lying about there not being any footage. And if the footage has disappeared, well, we know that's a whole nother problem. So so some good things are moving in those cases. I mean, it doesn't bring anybody back, but hopefully we're moving closer to some justice taking place there. So we're gonna we got about another 15-20 minutes. Let's end on some silliness. We've been real heavy today, but it needs to be
silliness
conversation. Let's end on some silliness. What are we watching on TV these days? Mink is my TV person. Face don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Honestly, I haven't been watching too much, to be honest with y'all, and that's kind of a question that kind of brings me to later on.
Ain't no later on. We got 15 minutes. Ain't no later on.
Not like later podcast, like another podcast or whatever. But I'm just saying, in the sense that I haven't been watching much. I heard, I saw online that they said that my show Walking Dead, that when it comes back, season 11 will be the final season.
I thought it was already over. There's more Walking Dead. You know, I don't watch that show, so you know more.
Anyway.
You know, I never got into that show. That's just not my.
I mean, honestly, the first season or two is about the zombies, but past that, it's about humanity and how we learn to cope with each other in a post-apocalyptic world and the things that people are still fighting for, and trying to create a new normal. So yeah, but there's a show on Hulu. I just watched episode 1. It's called Woke. It kind of deals with kind of what we're talking about now. A guy who lived in, I guess you could, for lack of a better term, lived in a bubble, and then he's racially profiled, and because of this, his bubble is broke. So now he's gonna start seeing the world a little bit differently.
Okay, that's interesting.
Y'all know Barbershop 3, the next cut, the black guy that was in there, the big guy comedian, the guy, he won like a main character, but he was kind of
I'm gonna have to admit that I never saw Barbershop 3. I don't think I've ever saw it. Oh, I know you're not talking with all the black movies you ain't never seen. Don't you do that?
What?
Don't you do me?
I don't
What
know.
have you seen?
Wait a minute.
You know Mink has not seen most of the classic.
Like what?
I have a list right here. Hold on.
Bring it up.
A list? You got a list?
Because they always trying to take my black card. And I be like, look.
I have a list. I'm going to read you. Hold on, let me pull the list up. I'm about to read. Go ahead. I'm about to read the list.
I'm not going to lie. I'll tell y'all if I've seen it. Have not seen it or seen it.
Huh?
Are you talking about Anthony Anderson?
No, It's in Barbershop 3. It was a little short guy in the barbershop. Have you seen it, Will? On Face, have you seen Barbershop 3?
Begrudgingly, yes.
Oh Lord! Remember the guy at the very end of the movie? He liked one of the stylists, and then at the very end of the movie, she kind of confessed that she liked him too.
Wait.
Big guy. He wasn't a main character. He was the one when Ice Cube and Common had got into it and made up. He was like, "Oh, look at that! Two black fathers, eye to eye, getting along." If y'all remember that scene, he's the guy who's the lead on the show Woke.
Okay, now listen, me. I want you to raise your hand for every movie I read that you've seen. I want you to. I have seen. Okay. Coming to America. Boys in the Hood. Poetic Justice. Love Jones. Higher Learning.
But you had to think about it.
Right, you had to think about it. Set it off. Eve's Bayou. Malcolm X. The Color Purple.
I can quote that shit.
Lean on Me. School Days. Mink, you seen more than I thought you seen. What's that got to do with it?
Any man's gamma man.
School Days and what else?
What's love got to do with it?
I can quote that shit.
New Jack City. Cooley-Eye. Wait and Exhale. Roots. I know you've seen Roots.
But I don't think anybody had any choice. It was on every
year.
year.
Boomerang.
I'm trying to get baby girl to watch it today.
Oh, for real? Oh, I might come with my mask on. Do the Right Thing. Love and Basketball.
I seen. I ain't like it again.
You ain't like it,
I didn't like the end of it because I wish they wouldn't have got together because fuck him. But go ahead.
Oh Lord, I love the ending. Anyway, Brown Sugar, The Best Man. Well, I know you've seen The Best Man. The Wood, Juice, The Wiz.
Got the DVD.
Soul Food.
And the TV show.
Harlem Nights.
My mama had a DVD, seen it several times.
I think I just watched it a couple of weeks ago. What?
Got the DVD and the soundtrack.
Purple Rain.
Oh.
Friday.
1, 2, and 3.
The 5 Heartbeats.
Come on now.
Keep going. Got the soundtrack.
Dead President.
Love that movie, yes.
House Party.
1 and 2. Ain't seen 3 and 4.
You know what? I give you your black card back, Mink, because because when we start talking about black movies, you be like, I never seen it. I never seen it.
So what had happened was,
so I give you your card back.
What had happened was when y'all we were talking. Okay, so for those who don't know, this conversation took place. I think when you and I kind of first met. So we're talking roughly 10 years ago.
Oh, so in the 10 years you've watched some.
No. Now I've seen all of those as they've come out.
Okay.
10 years ago, I hadn't seen Beat Street. I hadn't seen Crush Groove. One of them. I hadn't seen one of them. And that's the response I got. I've since seen
No Electric Boogaloo.
You didn't see Breaking?
That's Breaking. Hold on, see. Then Breaking 1 and 2, I saw in the theaters.
Okay, all right,
All
great.
right, all right.
All right.
Beach Street and Crush Groove were two movies that I kind of missed growing up, and I had to go back and watch.
Body moving.
I
Yay!
know Crush Groove I had ever seen.
That's the first time we met Blair Underwood, girl. What's wrong with you?
Well, see, and the first time,
Right, how he get the role playing?
and I ain't gonna lie,
I get the role playing Russell Simmons though.
I seen Fame, Crispy. I seen Fame. I love the TV show and the movie. Yes,
Yes, I love the TV show and the movie.
and I like I told you, I'm honest. Y'all can ask me anything. I'm honest. I still have not seen the original Sparkle. Every time it comes on, I see this back. I've seen the Sparkle with Whitney Houston, but every time I try to catch the Irene Cara Sparkle, it's at the same, literally the same place every time, like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Thank God it's Friday.
Hey, Milk Chip.
But you know what the funny? Like I've seen Cornbread Earl and Me.
That's I like Cornbread Earl and Me.
I've seen Raisin in the Sun.
Yeah, I've seen the show, the play, the everything else that Raisin.
I've seen like a lot of the Richard Pryor. I've seen what's the Richard Pryor movie with the kids? You know, the badass kids, Bustin' Loose.
Yeah, Bustin' Loose is my movie. I love Bustin' Loose.
Yeah, I've seen Miss Jane Pittman. I've seen, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. I've seen, I've seen
5 Heartbeats. Yeah, she got that one.
Yeah, seen 5 Heartbeats. Cornbread Earl and Me. Oh my God, he's the man with the playing the ball in his hand. He's
Cornbread Earl and Me is a movie that I don't like. Cornbread Earl and Me because I don't like the story. But that's when you see a young Florence Fishburne.
Yeah.
You see a Janet Dubois out of her Good Times role.
Yeah.
And it I liked it, but I didn't like it. I liked it for the culture, but I didn't like it because of the story. You know what I mean? Because of the story.
It's kind of what we're dealing with today.
Say what?
It's kind of what we're dealing with today.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a lot of what we're dealing with today.
73 or something like that. So
yeah. So I don't know what it was because it was another movie that you hadn't seen. It wasn't like it was a movie that we were like, oh my God, you've never seen it. It was something on that list. One of the movies on that list you hadn't seen.
I have seen all those movies.
I'm gonna give you your card back.
For now, on a temporary basis.
Wait a minute. But I got Crush Groove and Beach Street on DVD. So I'm just saying.
And I've seen one of them in I think Crush Groove. Okay, which one got Blair Underwood? Crush Groove?
Yes.
Which one has what?
Yes.
Blair Underwood, Crush Groove, right?
Crush Groove, yeah.
I just watched that 2019, 2020 from beginning to end. I've seen it in pieces. I know New Edition was in it. That's about the extent that I cared.
Wow.
They in it for all of 5 minutes.
That's all
right.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed. Beach Street, that's the one with Raymond. Yes. And so now I've seen both. So I've seen Beach Street first. And I hadn't seen Crush Groove, but now I've seen Crush Groove. Now, see,
I'm gonna give you your card back. I'm gonna go on and give you your card back now.
Yeah, I will tell you if I've seen it. I will honestly tell you if I've seen it, and I will tell you when I saw it. But yeah, the movies you named, maybe go back and find another list. But the movies that you've named, I can't
remember. It was a couple of movies that when you were like you had seen them, we were all like, "What?"
What?
I know Trouble Class gets on me because I've never seen Sound of Music, and I have no intent of watching Sound of Music.
No. What is wrong with you? Yes, the Sound of Music. I don't care. It's a great movie. Listen, The Hills Are Alive.
I don't give a fuck about them kids. I don't give a fuck about them little German kids. I don't. That shit should be alive with hip.
It was Austria, but okay. They
could be alive with hip hop. I don't give a shit.
Did you say alive with hip hop though?
Could be alive with hip hop.
You could be saying Candy Girl in the back. I don't give a shit about them little kids. I don't care about them. I ain't never seen.
Make it so bad. I've seen The Sound of Music.
I ain't never seen it. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to see it. Not gonna
Gone with the Wind. No, it's not. I wouldn't know.
I ain't seen Casablanca. Ain't gonna do it.
Casablanca is a good one.
Ain't gonna do it. I suffered through What's the little one with the angel? Every time an angel dies or a baby laughs or somebody gets his wings or whatever the hell, a little Christmas book movie.
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. That's my movie. I love that movie.
I suffered through that shit like 2 years ago, and when it first opened up, I'm like, he about 35 years old. Why still at home with his parents? What the hell?
He wasn't living at. You talking about a different movie. He was not living at.
When it opened up, he was sitting at the table with his parents eating breakfast. I thought he lived there.
No, that's a different movie. You talking about a different movie.
The one, and he dies, and he has to see his life without him.
But he wasn't living with his parents. He was living with his wife and his kids.
I know what I'm saying. When it opened up, he was sitting there, and I thought that he living with his parents. And I was just like, but I
don't know what movie you were watching. That ain't how It's a Wonderful Life.
I suffered through the whole movie, and I was sitting here between It's a Wonderful Life and what is it, White Christmas or something.
You might have been talking about White Christmas. Now, I didn't like White Christmas.
I was just like, I can't.
This is not what I thought it was. White Christmas isn't what I thought it was.
Hamilton? You talking about the play Hamilton, Eddie? I watched that this year. The Disney, how they re-released the live play.
It came on Disney Plus. It dropped on my birthday.
Oh,
right, yeah,
So I watched it, and that was actually really good. And now I wish I would have gone and seen it.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Whatever. Anyway. All right, you guys. Well, we're getting ready to wrap this up.
What was that? That sunflower seeds and pickle juice. What was that?
Not off the good ice cream truck, sunflower seeds and pickle juice. So, any closing words? We didn't come to you, Face. Are you watching anything good on TV these days?
You know what? I've been trapped into watching cooking shows apparently for the past like 2 weeks.
Oh, you over there cooking?
I've been watching. What's the Beat Bobby Flay, like it just came out, and Chopped like it's a new show. And I'm in front of TV like, oh, this is
Monk Chip. I've seen part of it. I have not seen the whole movie. I stumbled onto it. It's on YouTube, and I actually stumbled onto it one day. And then I got distracted and I never went back to it. But I've started watching, but no, I've never seen the whole thing. Black Girl by Ozzie Davis, directed by Ozzie Davis.
I haven't seen it. Check it out. I've seen Claudine. That's my movie.
That's my movie. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you said you were cooking with Bobby Flay?
Beat Bobby Flay. I've been watching the show like it just came out. Apparently it's like 25 seasons. And I've been watching like it's new.
He down to cooking hot dogs and beans at this point.
like legit excited. Like, oh man, this gonna be good. Yeah. I'm like, man, I need to do something in my life. If I'm sitting here watching this joint, like, like it's an action flick, it's a problem.
You know what? A lot of shows are starting to come back. I'm seeing a lot of shows that started filming again. My soap operas are back on. I've noticed Pose has started. They've started filming for season 3. So the shows they're slowly but surely coming back. They're slowly but surely
watching P-Valley.
Oh, it was good.
I haven't finished. I've gotten to episode 1. I gotta go back.
Keep it. Keep watching. It's good.
Okay.
It's real good. Okay. I've watched it and reviewed it. So, yeah, Claudine is my shit. Yeah. Claudine. Now, Claudine is a movie they could I wouldn't be mad at a Claudine remake. I wouldn't be mad.
Did y'all say they're going to be remaking Golden Girls?
No, it was yes and no. They're not remaking it like a reboot thing. They did it as they did it one time on Zoom, and they do it. I think they did it to raise money for charity or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But I still wasn't here for it. I still wasn't here.
See, I'm not alone. There's other people that watch the cooking show. That's all I'm saying.
So you know what? I'm with some of y'all. I do wish that we had more. I agree, little baby. I wish we had went back to the cooking shows and not the food competitions. Because I like Pioneer Woman. She done got a little foo-foo with her food lately. And she used to give you some good old biscuits and gravy. And now she's trying to put like cinnamon or parsnip in the gravy. And I'd be like, girl, go back to your roots.
Take me back to some good old Julia Child. Julia Child used to give it to you, give you some good stuff now.
Down the onions. You know a good movie I watched? And I didn't watch the show as a kid, but the movie about him, Mr. Rogers, but it's called Welcome to My Neighborhood or something.
I want to see that. I never did watch it. I want to see that with Tom Hanks.
It's interesting. Tom Hanks and Mr. Rogers are like distant cousins or something. They're like related.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
But the movie about his life. Now, I did not watch Mr. Rogers. I thought he was creepy as a kid.
I didn't like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at all. I did not like it. I did not like it.
What was wrong?
Well, they came on before Gumby. What's wrong with y'all?
I didn't like Gumby.
Yeah, I like Gumby either.
I'm just saying that's how you knew cartoons about to come on. Mr. Rogers Neighborhood, Gumby. Then
I would look at Sesame Street, Electric Company, and then when Mr. Rogers would come on, I would be disinterested. I didn't like it.
My show when I was that young was the Muppets because it was live action.
Oh, I love the Muppets. The Muppets, the real motherfuckers right there. Yeah. I love me some Muppets. Okay, Animal was my dog right there. Animal.
I love the judges in the book in the back.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the judges in the balcony, like as an adult, you get the jokes way more than you got them as a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I love the Muppets, but But if you go to Pittsburgh, they love him in Pittsburgh. They love Mr. Rogers,
Yeah. Well, if you watch the movie, you understand why.
Well, I get because I went to the museum. When I went to Pittsburgh, we went to the museum, so I learned a little bit about his history and stuff. Yeah.
So I like Tom Hanks. I think he did a really good job portraying, this character. Again, I didn't have any onus because I didn't watch the show. I thought it was a good movie. So,
all right. Well, honestly, I'm not really looking at too much of nothing right now. I'm sort of in that middle place where a lot of stuff is over and we should be gearing up for the new seasons of a lot of stuff, but everything is so delayed. I have become addicted to this trash show, and that's all it is. It's trash. Okay. There's no redeeming quality to this show. It is superficial and it is trash, and it is called Love Island, and it comes on CBS, and it is trash. It's trash. But it's like that
reality shows, the millennial reality shows.
That's what it is. It's just it's not even millennial. This is Gen X. What generation are we on now? Because these are like 20-year-olds. They're walking around in bikinis and swim trunks all day. All of them have these perfect bodies, and it's all about coupling up.
It's well produced.
It's crazy. It is total trash. It is total trash. I can't turn away from
a show that I've watched on Netflix. Those have Netflix, and I've watched this season 1 twice now. Is Sweet Magnolias.
That's a good one. I'm so mad because I'm ready for season 2. Sweet Magnolias was good.
That was good.
My mom told me about Sweet Magnolias. We're on Generation Z. Yeah, it's a total Generation Z TV show. It is so trash. It is such trash. But again, I can't turn away from it. I watch it every night. It comes on, and that's the other thing. It comes on almost every night, so you don't have to wait. You know what I mean? And it's just nothing. Like I would never, if this were, I would never watch the show if I was looking at if Pose was on and Queen Sugar and all the other shows that normally would be on around now. I would never have looked at this show because apparently this isn't the first season of it, and I didn't even know it existed until now.
I watched this show. I don't know the name of it. Well, these people, I don't know. It was like 30 people. And they went into it was like Love Unseen or Love Unsight or something stupid.
Love at First Sight?
It wasn't at first sight. You literally went into a box. So they had men on
I know you're talking about. That was on Netflix, right?
Love is Blind, I think is the name.
Yeah, that came on Netflix.
Man.
And yes, and I like the concept of it, but we only saw 6 people or something, 7 people connect. So they were like 30 in the house. So where's everybody else?
I watched it when it like first episode, and I was just sitting there watching it. Look, I just cut it off and like went upstairs. I couldn't it was just like
I never did watch it.
Like this season, there's episodes of this.
Yeah, El Teddy reviewed it on his show. I just never. I mean, on his channel. I never watched it. Miss Honey, you talking about soap like with Billy Crystal soap? Because when I tell you that's my show, I love that show.
Billy Crystal's on soap.
Soap. It was a parody of soap operas from the 19. It's like 19.
I remember Robert Guillaume.
Billy Crystal was Robert. It was Vincent was the spinoff of Soap.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal played a gay. He was the gay nephew.
I gotta go back and watch it.
Oh my gosh! Yes, Billy Crystal was on there. Yeah. When I tell you I love that show,
see, I love
never gets old. Soap never gets old.
Captain Hellburn.
Yep, Captain Hellburn. Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to watch as a kid, but I really couldn't watch it. Hey Slim. I have always loved Robert Guillaume.
It was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah, Robert Guillaume played. He was their butler, and he was like always had this. He was just like Vincent. I mean, he was Vincent. He always had the smart remarks and looking at them crazy, and it was like the rich. It was like Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was two sisters.
Yeah.
Catherine, and her family, they were rich, and they had rich people problems, and then her and her family, where they were like middle class, and so they had middle class people problems. It was it was funny. Yeah, I agree, Miss Honey. It was before its time, because when I tell you that thing is hilarious.
But the thing about it, and as a child, I didn't get the connection between. I knew it was Robert Guillaume because I always loved Robert Guillaume. So I knew he was on Soap, and I knew he was on Benson, but I didn't get to connect because on Soap he was the butler, but on Benson he was lieutenant governor.
Well, he became lieutenant governor when he first came on to Benson. He was the head of the household. He was the head, and he was recommended for the job by Catherine, the person who plays Catherine. The governor on Benson was her cousin.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they made that connection.
See, I
remember the governor was special. He was a little It connected right in with the characters from Soap, because all of them was crazy as hell.
Because like I said, as a kid, I never really watched that, so I didn't make the connection. But when I got old, I was like, oh, but yeah, I truly do miss shows like that. You know what? Netflix did a remix of One Day at a Time.
I didn't like it.
The Latino family. I love Rita Moreno, the grandmother. So I loved it, but Netflix.
I only watched a couple of episodes. It didn't really do nothing for me.
I love it. And then Netflix canceled it, and they wound up doing a third season, 3 or 4 on I think ABC Family. That's another one. The Beauty and the Baker.
Wait, what?
I never saw that.
There's a show on ABC Family, or Freeform. That's called it, on Freeform. That's called The Beauty and the Baker.
Beauty and the Baker.
Baker, yeah. It's kind of chick flickish, but it's a cute little thing. The girl who played the love interest in Too Fast, Too Furious is the Beauty. She's a lead female in this show. You never seen Too Fast, Too Furious?
Yeah, but I'm like, who's the lead?
Let me tell y'all how many Fast
and Furious female. I was like, huh?
Let me tell you how many Fast and Furious movies I have seen. The first one. I have seen none of the 20 sequels.
Okay.
There's one. It's called. I remember my friend. This one called El Comancho or something that went straight to video. I'm trying to find that one. I can't find it, but I've seen all of them.
That's not my cup of tea.
I've even seen Hobbs and Shaw. I'm waiting for the next one to come out.
Have you been watching? Now I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna get off of here. Have you? Now, Mink, you would like this. Have you been looking at Lovecraft Country on HBO?
No, my friend D recommended it to me. I have not watched it.
I think you would like it.
The only reason why, and I told her the same thing, it was giving me American Horror Story vibes.
Coastal Elite. What's that about, Mr. Zudi?
A kitchen director.
What is Coastal? Mr. Zudi said Coastal Elite premieres on HBO today. But what is it about? Coastal Elite. What is that about?
But wait a minute. Why Little Baby said he's seen even fewer Fast and Furious? I'm gonna need y'all to sit down together and watch all 1,400 episodes.
I will not.
I mean, anytime you want to drive by, I got them all.
Do you have the other one, the El Diablo, the El Comancho one? It went straight to video.
No, but considering all I have jailbroken over here, I probably have access to it. Just saying. Hey,
Shawana. What is Coastal Elite? What is that?
Yeah, I'm waiting for Mr. Zudi to tell us what Coastal Elite is about, then we're gonna get off in here.
Yeah. But no, I have not watched the one you had mentioned. Like I said, it was giving me American Horror Story vibes, and I don't need no demons in my life right now. So
well, it definitely gets into that type of stuff. I never watched American Horror Story, so I couldn't tell you it's a direct connection, but it's so much history, so much Black history infused into it. It's really good.
Okay, I'll watch it. Maybe I'll get. Is there something? Well, Baby Girl, an adult. Maybe. Oh
yeah, Baby Girl. Yeah, she can watch. And Baby Girl likes the superficial stuff, the sci-fi angle of it.
And she's watching.
It's sort of like the sci-fi stuff is sort of like It's sort of like an adult Harry Potter type. You know, they have like secret organizations and they can cast spells and it's different. But it's very interesting. I will watch it. It's good. I recommend it.
Which one is this you talking about?
You've seen all of the Fast and Furious and the spinoffs? Yeah.
Nah, what show you're talking about?
It's what I'm looking for.
It's supposed to be going into space. Who going into space? What? You talking about the next Fast and the Furious? I mean, they ain't got nothing left to do down here. Shit.
No, what is the show we're talking about with the boy sister?
Lovecraft Country?
Yeah, Lovecraft Country. That's what we're talking about, Face. Lovecraft Country.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Okay.
I don't know how true it is, but there is a thing that the next Fast and Furious is supposed to be going into space. Now, I don't know if it's a fan joke thing, but the tall one.
That's true. I thought that was a joke. Oh.
Yeah, baby girl was reading to me yesterday, but I don't know how true it is. But it was actually like a fan thing.
Okay, now that's stupid.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising.
You know what? I did see that. It's a comedy that they did. They filmed it during quarantine, and it has Issa Rae, Bette Midler. Okay, I did see that. You know what? I probably will watch that. Yeah. They filmed it. It's like they filmed it while in quarantine. So
that's something I watched. There's a movie called Love in Quarantine or Love During Quarantine or something. It was masterfully done.
I thought that was a commercial.
No. Leslie Odom Jr. is Leslie Odom Jr. and his wife they're quarantining. It is his real life wife, and then you see Gil Bellows. He's in it and he's quarantined, and that people playing his family is his real life wife and daughter. So it's about these different people who are quarantining in different places, situations. It was masterfully done. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's like maybe 6 episodes.
Okay.
But it's called Love in a Time of Quarantine, and it's a spinoff the book Love in Time of Corella or whatever the disease was. But yes, it's a Corella, so it's a spinoff. That's a good nice little cholera. Thank you. I can't sorry. Leave me alone. Thank you.
I was like, what?
Love in a Time of Cholera, but the show is called Love in a Time of Quarantine. I saw it between Netflix and Hulu. One of them, it was on there.
Right, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just saying, keep it real. I'm not gonna watch it.
Well, I'm gonna tell PO
because the story. I don't know. Whatever. Sounds like that bugging me sometimes. Like I don't know.
And, it's
always somebody that's too much. Like you slowing down too much. Like sit down.
Say why?
It's always somebody that's doing too much. Like, man, if you don't sit down somewhere, like
it's good because it's like one of the characters, him and his wife are quarantined together, and they have a child, and didn't tell the child was in college and had to come back home because of quarantine, and they didn't tell the child that they were getting divorced.
Well, and then I have a new show. It's not a new show. It's been coming on Netflix, but Miss Honey introduced me to a new show last night with my boy that plays Omar, because he's on Lovecraft Country. Y'all know Michael Williamson, the guy that plays Omar on The Wire. It's called Herb. Miss Honey, what's the name of it again? Herb and see, I gotta write it down because
I've seen the previews for that. I haven't watched it yet.
She said it's really good. I haven't watched it either, but it's on my list.
And I like him. It's like, yeah, I've seen the previews. I just been like,
It's called Herb and what is it called, Miss Honey? Herb and somebody.
Like Herb and Leroy or Herb and
yeah. I know Netflix. All I gotta do is type in Herb and it'll pop up. So.
Yeah, he my gangster boo too, but I don't know if I'm gonna watch that.
Let me tell you something. I think it's Michael K. Williamson, Herb and Leonard. That's Hap and Leonard. Oh well, if I put in Herb, I did. Let me write this shit down because Herb wouldn't have popped up because it ain't Herb. It's Hap. Okay. Let me write it down. Y'all know my attention span is that long. You binged last night. Is it good, El Teddy?
He said he hooked.
You're hooked. Okay. Let me tell you something. I find Michael Williamson to be sexy as hell. That scar, he is so sexy. He is so sexy.
You heard a story about the scar?
Yeah, I saw him on something tell the story of the scar, and he had actually just started a modeling career when he got that scar. And he thought that was just like gonna be the end, you know.
Yeah. I love his rawness. I love him in Now You See It, Now You Don't. He's in
I never seen that. Now You See It, Now You Don't.
He's in the second one. Yeah, I think it's the second.
I've never seen the first one. What is that?
Right. Wow.
The Magic movie with Mark Ruffalo, Jesse Eisenberg.
Like the first one was cool. The second one was like,
you lost me at magic.
Why?
I don't do magic. You lost me at magic. I don't do magic.
Don't you watch Harry Potter?
Michael K. Williams. Okay. Y'all keep comparing shit to Harry Potter. Like Lovecraft Country, people be like, you don't look at Harry Potter. Listen.
But this is Harry Potter about magic?
Harry Potter
is about magic.
It's in a different category.
Is it about magic?
It's about magic.
It's about magic.
It's in a different.
Is it about magic?
Non-realistic magic at that.
Hey, don't say it ain't realistic.
Mrs. Lily, I'm watching Dune when it comes out.
Because I'm going to Hogwarts. I will be going to Hogwarts. I didn't make it. Damn Corona stopped me from getting there.
Mrs. Lily,
well, if you go to
Hogwarts, yes, Dune. I'm watching when it comes out. Point blank. Period.
Yeah, I'm not watching Dune. I didn't watch the first Dune. I'm not watching this.
I watched the first Dune like it just came out all the time.
I ain't never seen it.
And it's a terrible movie.
Classic.
It's horrible. I keep watching it. I don't care.
Since you're a Harry Potter fan, what is she doing?
I'm listening. I'm looking for the thing to wipe my glasses. I can't find my cloth, and I usually keep it right here. So I was saying if I dropped it on the floor. Go ahead. I'm listening now.
Since you're a Harry Potter fan, when you go to Universal Studios, invest and get, and you can order one here. If you order one and take it with you, buy one there. But invest in getting you an interactive wand.
Interactive wand. Oh, I was gonna get me a wand. I was getting a wand.
There's 3 or 4 levels of wands that they sell in the
park. They got levels to that shit?
Get you an interactive wand and use it at night in the park.
Okay.
Oh shit! Now,
since you are a Harry Potter fan,
I am a Harry Potter,
and you have not. And I'll tell you this right now: when you're in the park, there's a double-decker bus here. That bus, look across this way. It'll take you into a whole new world. There's a hidden park. There's a park within the park, and you
I can't wait.
Yeah, so we spent like 20 minutes trying to find it. We was like, what in the hell? And we were like, and I stood there, I was like, wait, this damn bus. Because I haven't seen all the movies, and I ain't seen it in 20, 15 years. But it's just baby girl was looking. I was like, that damn bus. So I look, it's a whole new world.
Oh, yes. Well, that's where I was supposed to go for my birthday this year. But because I had invited you to come. And, obviously the COVID. So as soon as we can go, as soon as we feel comfortable going back outside, I'm hoping maybe by spring break, maybe I'll go for spring break this year coming up. Maybe I'm hoping. I don't know. Keep my fingers crossed, child. Yeah, all right, you guys. You want a dragon? I know that's right. Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, all the way over here, baby. Although I feel like I might have been in Slytherin. I don't know. Anyway,
wait a minute, hold up. No, let's highlight Zudi's comment. Wait, she's here saying that she don't do magic, but she's a Harry Potter super fan. Thank you. That's all we were saying. That's all we were saying.
Wrong with your glasses. Something wrong with your glasses?
Thank you. See, she don't believe it when it comes from Face and I. She try to act like we.
No, they've been telling me that. No, Abby, all of them have been saying it because Lovecraft Country has a lot of stuff that I'm like, I don't really like that, and they're like, but you like Harry Potter. I'm like, but I don't know how to listen. I don't know how to describe it, but it ain't the same. It's just not the same. Anyway, I love y'all.
Her suspension of disbelief is selective.
You just set the hell up. Are you? Are we watching a football game tomorrow at your house?
We can't.
Are you gonna be at your house tomorrow?
As far as I know. I mean,
have you set the league up?
Afternoon.
Sir, have you set the league up yet, sir?
Yeah.
I didn't get the invitation. It went to my email.
Wait, what? Everybody got notification.
Clearly everybody didn't because I didn't.
Right. I will send out a formal link then.
Wait a minute, Mr.
Because
Zudi.
if you have the app, it just tells you it's open.
Mr. Zudi, did you watch Game of Thrones? Because you saw the old lady who played the queen that killed.
Yes, she died. Yeah.
It was like she was one.
No, seriously, did it go to my show? Seriously, did you send an email or was it a text? Because I didn't get a text.
Oh, I'm thinking the alert came from the app. I guess we're not trusting apps these days.
Oh, it came through the FanDuel app?
Yeah, because that's.
Oh, you know what?
Because that day when I was talking to everybody
you
was.
know what? I'm okay. Then let me. Okay. It probably did come through my app because I haven't gone into my FanDuel and I got 60 notifications in FanDuel, so it's probably there.
Thank you, Nappy. Diana Reeves.
It's probably there. See, I gotta update the app and everything. All right, cool. 82. All right, you guys.
He's 82. Okay.
82. All right, y'all. Let me go. Let's go. Mink, take us out.
People. We're gonna breathe. We're gonna woosah. We're gonna make it through this together. We are going to survive. If you're not okay, please say you're okay. It's okay. However, somebody come up and try to fuck up your chi, punch that bitch in the throat and say, "Really, bitch?"
Okay. And I forgot to say, my bad. Mick usually gets the last word, but Face put up here his Mixcloud. He's gonna be live. He's gonna be DJing live tonight on his Mixcloud account. So if y'all want to go through there, y'all want to have some good vibes. He takes requests, you guys. He also takes tips. So go on through there later on if you're cleaning up your house, you're doing some work around the house, any kind of good vibes you got going on. Face will be here at his Mixcloud account. /DJ Face the Music, and y'all check her out.
Thank you.
I'm gonna point it out. 6 o'clock.
Here's the thing about me, Jonathan. Here's the thing about me. Y'all only get about 10%.
Right.
Like she really is tame on here. That's the thing y'all don't understand. Y'all really only get 10%.
And man, if y'all, she need her own show.
Y'all really don't.
She need her own show.
Listen, I love her to death. I love her to death because y'all just don't know. And what you really need to see is her and her, as she calls it, her legal roommate, her husband. Oh God,
he ain't got nothing coming, man. I fuck with me. Look,
I know what he's gonna be tomorrow.
She's black, y'all.
Mink's husband is gonna be sitting in that living room floor tomorrow with 5 laptops open to all of his fantasy leagues, checking all the stats, following all the games. That's where her husband gonna be tomorrow. I know what to find you tomorrow, your husband tomorrow, Mink. Especially since he probably ain't driving down to his little spot. So I don't know. I might get up in the morning and try to get some work done. If I can get some work done tomorrow, I may come through and watch the game. But it's going to depend on how much work. I got to get some work done tomorrow because I already said I'm going to take today off and just do some stuff for me. But I got some work I got to do tomorrow. So it's going to depend on if I can get that done before game time. I'll call you though because I still got something here in the house for you. So I may come by at some point. Maybe I'll come by at halftime and watch the second half of the game because we play at 1, right?
Sure.
Because we play the Eagles.
That sounds about we got to be a 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, we play the Eagles. We're a 1 o'clock game. All right, I may come through around halftime and watch the second half of the game. I'm gonna get some work, but I get some work done first. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming through.
For all the party people, join us tonight at 6.
Join us over to the Mixcloud.
Yes.
All right, peace.
All right, y'all, punch them in the throat.